Bad day to be a person with lungs. The Front Range got pretty hazy this afternoon. At one point, the air quality tracker IQ Air had Denver's air listed as the 7th worst in the world, just behind Delhi, India. Thankfully, things are clearing up.
According to state health officials, wildfires burning over in Nebraska are to blame. The wind blew in smoke from the Minor and Ashby fires, which both started overnight. Crews from Adams County Fire were up there helping out. Thanks for joining us at 10. I'm Alexandra Lewis.
I'm Kyle Clark. Smoke had a lot of people call 911. They thought that maybe there was a new fire start somewhere in Colorado. That was not the case, though. Kathy Stevens along now with an update on the smoke that worried a lot of people today.
Yeah, everybody's on edge. We've had fire weather since last fall, and then to see this plume of smoke move into the city today was very unsettling and unnerving. But this was all part of a cool front that brought temperatures down out of the record upper 80s that we saw yesterday into the lower 70s tonight. East to northeast winds funneling some of that smoke and haze from those fires in Nebraska right back into Denver. And we have a secondary front coming in tomorrow that'll help to scour out some of that bad air. We're also seeing snow shower activity in the mountains, which is wonderful news. And a few light rain showers have been reported around Denver. A much cooler night with temperatures in the 40s to near 50 degrees. And that second front is knocking on the door. We're 16 degrees colder this time than we were 24 hours ago. So yeah, big swing there. Now the winds are starting to let up a little bit as that front continues to drop southward. And as it does, we're going to see a pretty chilly evening tonight with some clearing late. But look at this. We've got snow in the mountains on the radar here. We've got a little rain in and around the metro area. When I say little, I mean less than 20% chance that you'll see some, but there is a chance. And we're heading into the coolest day of the week tomorrow. We're going to be in the 50s after a chilly start with overnight low temperatures in the mid 30s and lower 40s. Part of your weather headlines. Showers continue for some areas for another hour or two. We've got a cool Friday forecast and more mountain snow on the way. All these details just ahead.
New tonight, President Trump says he'll sign an order telling the Department of Homeland Security to pay TSA officers during this partial government shutdown. But it's not clear where that money is going to come from. TSA officers miss their first full paychecks in the middle of this month, leading many to call out of work. Call-out rates for TSA officers have exceeded 11% nationally, leading to these long screening lines at some airports we've been seeing. The Senate has repeatedly failed to advance a bill that would fund DHS and with it TSA for a full year. The Senate is supposed to leave tomorrow for a 2-week recess. That could change if they don't reach a deal.
The union representing 3,800 workers at the JBS meatpacking plant in Greeley is extending its strike there. It was meant to last 2 weeks, but they said tonight they plan to keep it going into a third. There hasn't been many signs of progress between the two sides since that strike began earlier this month. JBS has shifted its production to other facilities across the country, trying to maintain normal operations.
Denver is looking to ditch Bird and Lime shareable scooters and replace them with a company called Vio. A closer look at the agreement that leaders are considering raises a new concern.
So while the city says that free rides for low-income folks are going to continue, there is a clause that could eventually lead to charges. 9 News reporter Ria Jha explains.
This is my main mode of transportation.
These scooters are essential for thousands of people in Denver like Ashley Yeagley.
Lime has built trust with thousands of people here in Denver. And that trust goes away if that gets taken over and if we start charging people for it.
Through Lime's low-income access program, rides like these have been free.
It saves me my money so I can use that money for my kids.
That could change. The city is planning to replace Lime and Bird with a new company, Vio. And in the proposed agreement, there's a clause that allows the company to charge riders under certain circumstances.
For anyone who is currently on Bird or Lime's access program, the access program is going to continue through Vio.
Just last week, transportation officials presented the new agreement to City Council and never mentioned this clause.
We're going to make sure that folks are not denied service just because they didn't know about this transition. They're going to be able to continue to ride for free.
A closer look into the documents show that if low-income rides make up more than 25% of all trips and a city subsidy runs out, Vio could ask to charge up to $5 a month.
For some folks, they don't have access to banking. And so just being required to pay for something can be a barrier.
Jill Locanterre is with Denver Streets Partnership. Her focus is making transportation accessible. She says that threshold may not be hard to reach because Lime's access program cleared that 25% threshold in 2024 and 2025.
The city keeps reassuring us that the intention is to transfer everybody who's enrolled in the current access program to the new provider. If they all transfer to the new provider's program, they will hit the threshold that will allow them to start charging for the program.
Supporters of the program say there are bigger priorities that make this deal worth it.
The safety aspect far outweighs anything else for us. We're tired of the scooters being on the sidewalk, scooters being parked incorrectly, blocking the sidewalks.
David Kurth is with the Upper Downtown Neighborhood Association. He's also taken a look at that clause to charge people.
That is a possibility, not set in stone, and it's only after the certain limits are reached.
In a statement, VO told 9 News, quote, the clause offers an opportunity for flexibility and that they don't expect to charge riders. Still making people like Jill wonder, why?
If even the private sector partner is saying they don't intend to use that, why is it there?
Any charge or fee would still need to be approved by Dottie. They said in a statement that free rides are still their priority. The VO contract will come before City Council members next week at the Transportation Committee hearing. Reporting live in Denver, Ria Cha, 9 News.
Investigators are looking into what caused a fire that burned down the near century-old gazebo at Denver City Park. That band shell at Farrell Lake went up overnight. The gazebo was originally built in 1929. It's been home to Jazz in the Park performances for the last 4 years. In a Facebook post, organizers said they're already working through options to host the concerts scheduled. Beyond that, the gazebo means a lot to a lot of people, like Andrew Silverberg had his wedding there last May.
We did our vows walking, kind of into the park, ended right there at the bandstand. That was just, I think, where we also kind of really had our first date once we moved here. So yeah, I mean, the entire park there has just always had a lot of significance to us.
Denver Fire says it's still investigating the cause. They say the gazebo is a total loss.
It's a problem we've told you about before. When the wind whips in Arvada's Layden Rock neighborhood, stuff goes flying. This video is from 2021, when the neighborhood was hit with wind gusts close to 90 miles per hour. The Front Range has had quite a few strong wind events over the past several months. That's been blowing around a whole bunch of trash.
9 News reporter Colton Chavez caught up with somebody who lives downwind.
So we just get these winds that just rip right off the mountains.
In the Layden Rock community, the saying, "Look what the wind blew in,"
It's kind of been around for a while.
can be taken literally.
What you see in my yard here is the backyard protected by the house, and it still manages to somehow come back here and, latch on to the shrubs and stuff. And I'm like,
Alex King believes the trash in his backyard comes from the landfill nearby.
you have clear view of the landfill, and there's just this kind of mountain of debris on the ground. And then you see it in some of the open space that's in that same view.
Alex says the trash blows far beyond his own yard and is seen every day during his run around the neighborhood.
I run those areas all the time, and it's just boiled over where I'm like, I really just want to see something done.
Republic Services, the company that owns the landfill near Alex's home, says they're working to prevent this from happening. Along with perimeter fencing, the company says since January, we've had 5 full days and 8 partial days of landfill closure due to wind. The company says they also send workers out to try and clean up the trash.
And over the last few years, I've just been kind of getting progressively more like, it's nice that you send someone to clean it up after it happens, but what are we doing to prevent this from happening to begin with?
For Alex and his neighbors, it's no longer just, look what the wind blew in.
Just kind of diminishes the value of the land.
But how to make sure it stops blowing in altogether.
To be honest, you guys are filming on a day that isn't that bad. It gets much worse.
In talking with Alex earlier this evening, he said some of his solutions he would like to propose is maybe a taller fence, or even maybe just digging that trash just a little bit deeper. Live in Arvada tonight, Colton Chavez, 9 News.